The Selfish Path to Romance. Download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com.
And here is a question I received from someone who's not focused on happiness, the theme of the show, but on death. What do you do if your dad is always talking about death? How do you deal with him? This is a question from Amy. Hi, Dr. Kenner. My dad is preoccupied with death. I know this sounds morbid, but it's the truth! ! He's 50 years old and I'm 26, and he sends me an email almost every week with the name of someone from my town, I live out of town, who has died. Usually it's someone I've never met, and sometimes it's someone who I met once or twice when I was in elementary school. Sometimes he'll call me several times in a row, leaving messages for me to call him back. And when I do, he'll say, "Do you know so-and-so? They died." And it will be someone I've never even heard of. Also, he likes to be the first person to tell me of someone famous who died. These are not people that I'm a huge fan of, and I can't think of any reason he would want to do that. He has been doing this for quite some time now, but it seems to have gotten worse since my parents divorced 3 years ago. What's going on here, Amy? Well, that is the best question for him, isn't it? Dad, what's up? Help me understand you better. I don't get it. You call me and you tell me everyone that's died. What's going on? What's underneath all of this? Now, this is me speaking now, I could take some guesses, Amy, and I'm sure you've thought of some of these too. One is that maybe he feels like he wants you, maybe he's sending you a message, Amy, you don't pay me enough attention and someday I won't be in your life. What emotion does he want you to feel? He may be trying to induce guilt in you. Pay attention. I'm not going to be around all along, and Mom and I divorced, and you need to be with me more. If he's trying to reach out to you that way, that's not a cool way to reach out. He needs some guidance. He needs you to help him see that that's not an engraved invitation to enjoy his company. Tell me who died recently, Dad. You want to guide him a little bit. You could ask him, you could say to him, Dad, I'd prefer to hear about something you enjoy. Maybe you can, please don't tell me about anybody else who's died. I don't enjoy that at all. And you might need to gently remind him a few times. You can find some common ground to talk about it. Does he enjoy pets? Or does he call you and say, hey, guess whose dog died? Does he have any interests other than death? You want to try to figure out what's going on. So here's another possibility. So one is he's trying to induce guilt in you. It's just an indirect way of saying, visit me, pay attention to me, I'm here, don't forget about me. And that's how he decides to connect. Another thing, it could be
Hey, I got to interrupt this because we've got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, that's it. A very quick ad, and then Ellen will be back.
Romance. I wish I knew more about what girls want from a relationship. Boy, I wish I knew more about what I want. Where's that ad I saw? Here it is. The Selfish Path to Romance, a serious romance guidebook. Download Chapter 1 for free at selfishromance.com and buy it at amazon.com. The Selfish Path to Romance. That is interesting.
Pay attention to me, I'm here, don't forget about me. And that's how he decides to connect. Another thing, it could be a warning. Is he suicidal? Has he been depressed since the divorce? And is he playing around with the idea of death? If so, there's a wonderful book. It's on my website, drkenner.com, drkenner.com, Choosing to Live. And that's by Tom Ellis and Corey Newman. And that is a very good book and a cognitive therapy book, actually, for anybody who's considering suicide and they don't know how to deal in life. That can pull you back from the cliff. Does he have religious fears? A lot of people who are preoccupied with death have ideas of heaven or hell or ghosts or whatnot that have been, torturing them. And if that's the case, maybe he could use some therapy. It sounds like he could use therapy anyway. He needs to know how to behave towards his daughter. He's 50 years old and you're 26, and he needs to know that the way way to connect with you is not through negative stories, but through values. What does he love in life? What's of interest to him? He needs to, he may never do this, but what I would say to you is you can't change your dad, but you can be determined never to be like him, Amy. You want to become what I call, and my co-author calls, a passionate valuer. We even have a chapter in our book, The Selfish Path to Romance, on how to become a passionate valuer, loving all sorts of things in your life, hobbies and a career and maybe pets. Maybe you have a pet that you love. So if he's a chronic downer, you can just take smaller doses of him, keep the phone's contacts briefer, and see if he's doing this with other relatives too. If you have siblings, touch base with them, and you could call some other relatives if you've got other relatives around and see if he's talking about that. There's actually a phobia, a fear of death, thanatophobia, and if he does have a full-blown phobia, he's fearing death and focusing on it, over-focusing, and it's ruining his relationship with you or undermining it, then maybe he can get some cognitive therapy. That would be great for him. I looked up some quotes on death, and one is, if you spend all your time worrying about dying, living isn't going to be much fun. And another is, some people are so afraid to die that they never begin to live. That last one's from Henry Van Dyke. And here's a cute one. To die is to stop sinning suddenly.
For more Dr. Kenner podcast, go to drkenner.com and please listen to this ad.
Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance, the Serious Romance Guidebook by clinical psychologist Dr. Ellen Kenner and co-author Dr. Edwin Locke.
You cannot value romance if you don't have other values in your life. Some of the areas in which you can pursue values are a career or a job. Is your job or career something you love, or did you choose it for other reasons, such as conformity, fear, or duty? The ideal job is one about which you say, this job is so great, I can't believe they pay me to do it. Not everyone can find such a job, especially in bad economic times, but it's worth the effort, even if it means changing careers. And home. Make your home warm and inviting, tailored to your aesthetic taste and needs. Don't make it a vehicle for showing off, but do make it your own, a reflection of your standards and desires, not those of others.
You can download Chapter 1 for free by going to drkenner.com, and you can buy the book at amazon.com.